How we doing? We're here at the Groove House with the Mr. Don Gadi,
Yes, sir. You
the
know, find me.
Greenfield legend, born and raised.
That's right.
Can you give us a little backstory about where the name Don Gadi originated from?
Yeah, absolutely. So my last name is Delgado McCormick. We got the
Okay.
classic Western Mass hippie mom, nice and hyphenated last
Oh
name.
yeah.
So Delgado is my father's name. McCormick is my mother's name. I typically go with McCormick just because she was the one who raised me and my primary caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Ma Dukes.
Oh yeah.
And so I wanted to show a little love to my father's side of the family, and yeah, before it was Delgado for a while.
That was
That was
the.
my rap
Mm,
singing name for years was Delgado.
okay.
And then I would just shout out. I would say the Don Gotti, what's up? It's Don Gotti. It was kind of like the Slim Shady to my
Right.
Eminem.
Okay.
And then over the years, I was just like, look, like Delgado is just a pretty common Spanish surname. It's
Mm.
kind of like having your rap name be Johnson or Macintosh or
Yeah.
something.
Well.
And so I wanted to just make it a little more me. And
Mm.
when I'd go and search up Delgado, I'd get like thousands of
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
before me. And when I did Don Gotti, it would just be me. And so, it just felt a little more like me. It was kind of an odd transition at first. And then now over the years, I couldn't imagine being anything else.
When was that initial like, all right, I'm changing my name officially on like streaming platforms? When did it become Don Gotti to the average search
Yeah,
person?
I want to say 2020 when I
Okay,
dropped the Leo EP. That was
okay.
kind of a turning point for me. That was my first project on Spotify, going through DistroKid.
2020 was.
2020, yeah. So
Wow.
before that, it was all like SoundCloud, YouTube.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not sure if you guys remember. It was a little bit. It was harder back in the day, right? Because I've been doing this shit for a long time
Mm.
in some capacity,
Mm.
not necessarily super, seriously, but since I was about 15, I've been writing songs and putting them on the internet in some capacity,
Okay.
right? I mean, even I started doing it just recording shit on my phone, on a little flip phone, or on my shitty laptop, right? No Mac.
Was it GarageBand or
We
what?
did GarageBand. We did. I'm blanking on the name. We did
Audacity,
Audacity, the
Audacity, yo.
Audacity, bro. And
That
that shit
was,
looked
dude,
crazy.
that was what we used for when you had language, like when you were learning a language in high
Okay,
school or whatever, they would like you'd go into the computer lab
true,
and you'd record your like you have to talk for a minute on
true.
and it would be on Audacity.
It looks so retro,
It's
bro.
so retro, yeah,
There was another one, like I want to say like Logi. No, we had a Logitech mic. It's basically like a
yeah. Yeah,
podcasting
yeah,
mic,
yeah.
and then there was some other like free or semi-free, DAW you could get. I
Mm,
didn't have I could afford a Mac or anything
no,
close to
yeah.
it. I had an old shitty computer. So yeah, we definitely come a long way. And back in the day, yeah, I went actually started. I was Sour Diesel, Sour
That was
D.
your first rap
Yeah,
name?
dude.
Sour
This is
D's.
back when you were like unique, or at least you thought you were unique because you
Yeah.
smoked weed, right? This is when Wiz Khalifa first hit the scene. It was
Oh
like,
shit.
this guy, he's the weed rapper. How cool is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So I'm like, fuck, I smoke weed. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Sour
Yeah.
D's.
So
Was it Sour Diesel or
it was Sour Diesel, then it was Sour D.
Sour D?
And then I was
It's
like,
a little questionable
little
there.
sus. And then, so then we were Delgado for a while. And then 2020, I just wanted to put something out that had a little more of a concept to it. I did the
Mm,
Leo album, and that's still on streaming platforms. That's where I kind of tell people, like, when they ask, like, when did you really start? When did you really lean into it and
mm.
kind of take it seriously? I'd say 2020 is a big year for
And
me.
is that also so I know so you're born and raised in Greenfield.
I was born in Cambridge,
Born in
actually. Yes,
Cambridge
sir.
at Cambridge
Cambridge City Hospital.
oh
Doesn't I
okay.
think it's a Bay State now. But
Okay.
yeah, 95, born in Cambridge City Hospital. We lived in Somerville, Mass for a couple of years.
Really? My mom's from Somerville.
All right, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So my mom and my pops were out there, and then we moved out to Amherst for a year.
Okay.
We're out here on Cottage Street, not
That's
far
yeah,
from
that's real
here.
close.
Yeah,
Okay.
for about a year, and then we settled in Montague. So I went to like
Okay.
the Montague Turner School District. When I was about 10, my mom moved to Greenfield, and I stayed in the Turner's schools. So
And then
shout out
you
TF, I'm a Turner's boy, but
uh,
Greenfield, Montague, Turner's, it's kind of all one
yeah, yeah,
community. It's a
it's
lot of
close knit.
crossover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And then
yeah.
you decided when was the whole decision to move to San Diego? Was that around 2020 as well?
That yeah, it was like late 2019.
Okay.
I had graduated UMass about a year prior
Mm,
with an English degree, and I had a great time in my English major.
hell yeah.
That being said, it wasn't netting me a whole lot of options in the job search. Right,
Fair.
I was actually like pretty close to considering moving to China to teach English or to
Really?
like some other
Wow.
country. I like applied to some jobs, you know what I
Okay,
mean? So,
shit, yeah.
and my buddy had gotten a job recently at an underground weed farm,
In
and
San
in
Diego?
San Diego County, like North County, San Diego.
Okay.
And you know, I loved weed as we established,
Yeah,
and I mean, you know, I just wanted to kind of get out of here.
fair.
You know how it is. I think when you grow up in a small town, a small area, it can feel really constricting,
Hmm.
especially if you haven't left yet. I
Yeah.
don't feel that way at all. I absolutely adore this area now, and I feel a lot of like love and pride for it. But you know, in my early 20s, when I had never left, it was a little bit of like frustration and resentment. Like I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
want to get out of here.
Yeah, you gotta explore. You gotta, yeah,
Yeah,
check somewhere outside of the bubble necessarily. Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah, I just, you know, it was the deal was pretty horrendous. I mean, it was like a couple $100 a month, but you get a place to stay,
Okay.
and you're working like 6 12-hour shifts
Damn.
a
Damn.
week. Like it was pretty gnarly. But it was an opportunity to get out,
Mm.
and I hopped in this old Jeep that I had just bought, and I drove myself out there. And so that was November 2019,
Okay.
right a few months before COVID.
And
Um,
that was prior. Did you already have the EP that you were dropping in 2020? Was that already
I had
in
started
creation?
working on it for
Okay.
sure. I started working. I think I had recorded. It was only a 5 song EP. I had recorded like one or two of the songs out here.
Mm.
I went out there. I got connected with an audio engineer up in LA who's actually from out here. Shout out Aaron
Really?
Capucci Music. Still
Capucci.
to this date, the most talented audio engineer, excuse me, that I've worked with.
Okay.
And I would drive up to LA where he was at like multiple times a week. And I
Shit.
also during that time I got connected with I found a plug up there. We were getting packs. I mean, it's been long enough. We're getting paid by it.
Yeah.
And so I was literally like multiple. I'd work like a long ass shift, and
Yeah.
then I'd drive like it's like a 2 hour each way up to LA. You know,
Shit.
grab a couple packs, come down in the middle of the night at the farm, like put together some boxes to
Yeah.
ship out. We weren't supposed to be doing that.
You were
I was
shipping?
shipping out
Oh,
to
okay.
here,
Oh shit.
and man, it was kind of a drought time.
Yeah.
And then especially with COVID, you know,
Huge.
people
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
get
Not at
weed.
all.
So
Yeah.
that was how I supported myself. Eventually, the farm kind of fell apart. Dude who was running it was questionable.
Fair.
Uh,
Yeah.
and so, but at that point, I had kind of a thing going, and I was able to get an apartment in San Diego
Okay.
proper, which is where I live now.
And that's the same apartment that you
Same
have now.
apartment. Yep.
And how, like, going back to that EP that you kind of started here, but more finished in
Sure.
San Diego, how did San Diego kind of influence the sound that you created, or did it not really influence that EP, but is now kind of influencing you more?
Well, yeah, I don't know if I would say San Diego specifically influenced like my sound musically,
Mm.
um, but I think just sort of the subject matter. Where I was kind of just discussing things that were going on, kind of feeling a little bit feelings of like maybe a little isolation and loneliness, being thousands of miles from home, and then
Hmm.
especially with COVID hitting. Also, just certain subject matter like the trap kind of lifestyle,
Yeah.
of just like moving a bunch of weed and
Yeah.
shipping it OT. I had a song with King Los, which is still to this date like the biggest feature I've ever
Word.
had, and it's called Long Day.
Did you have to pay for that
I did
feature?
pay a little bit.
Yeah.
He gave me a good deal though. He
Okay.
heard it. He was like, "All right, I'm gonna cut you a good deal." I fucked
Hell
with
yeah.
it,
All
so
right,
it was
dope.
cool. And yeah, I was really happy about it. So, anyways, yeah, I think there was influence in like the subject matter, what I was speaking on, but I would no, I don't think it's accurate to say that like San Diego has influenced my sound too much.
What about now? Like, what about more like? Because the song you have with Hooper,
Okay,
where
okay,
that's
yeah, yeah,
more
yeah.
EDM influence. I feel like
True,
that's got some San Diego spin
true.
on it.
That's a good point. So anything, 'cause that's like a drum and bass track
Right. Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
That's like a hip hop drum and bass. So before I went out to Cali, I didn't appreciate really or respect EDM music.
Really, not at all.
I would call it computer music. I'd shit on my
Okay.
friend. I'd be like, get this computer. It was like
But
a running
there's a
joke.
good amount of that out here in
Oh,
Western
and
Mass.
there is for sure.
Yeah.
I guess for me, like, you know, my age group, my friend group,
Mm,
we weren't really listening to a lot of it. Like me,
fair.
my friends and I were like, you know, hip hop kind of purists, kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
snobby
East
about
Coast,
shit.
very East Coast hip hop.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of that out here where it's like if you grew up in hip hop, it's almost like a snotty nose
a little
about,
bit.
and it's very like I don't know, very boom bap influence, very like
For
East
sure.
Coast legend influence.
For sure. Like we loved and we still love to this day, like pro era, Joey Badass was like a hero. I mean,
Tribe,
yeah,
Nas.
for sure,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, even growing before that, I mean, I was a big Tech Nine fan, which is not
Really?
really so much boom
No,
bap, but
no.
I was like, you know how like Tech Nine fans back in the day could be like pretty fucking annoying.
Yeah,
Like no one's as good at Tech Nine. I
yeah,
love Tech Nine. By the way, he's a fucking amazing. He's one of my heroes. But I was like one of those annoying Tech
yeah.
Nine
Okay.
kids.
All
so
right, all
so,
right.
anyways, I was like that. I was like, I just kind of like stuck my nose up to EDM. I was just like, nah, I don't really fuck with it. I didn't really know any of the subgenres.
Mm-hmm.
Since living in San Diego, meeting some amazing people, getting involved with the rave community a bit
Yeah.
there, going to some awesome shows. I love this stuff, man. I love drum and bass. I
Drum and
love
bass,
house
yeah, yeah.
music. I love some bass music. I say the only thing I don't really fuck with would be like rhythm.
I can
I'm not
understand.
gonna name what
What about like hard style?
hard style techno, like hard, like the real
The
fast
choo
shit.
choo choo choo.
I'd say in general, techno is not as much my thing. It's
Same,
actually,
yeah.
so people often group together house and techno, and I think that
Yeah,
that's
no, no.
bullshit.
Yeah, I
They're
agree.
they're very different, and so
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge house fan, not a huge techno fan, definitely not a huge hardstyle fan. But you know what? A good DJ is a good DJ,
Facts.
and they can throw down. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking of some rhythm shows that I've seen where they had it, man. They had the
Yeah.
crowd all moving at the same tempo.
Yep.
So I'm never gonna write off any subgenre as being whack. It's not my place to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I certainly have my preferences.
Word. I really like that track that you did in drum and bass, and
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of drum and bass in
it's
general.
dope
Do you think we're gonna hear any more EDM influence in
for
some
sure.
upcoming tracks?
Absolutely, you
Yeah.
definitely will. Not so much on this album that I'm working on, which we can get into in a sec. But yeah, I'd love, and if anybody's watching this, if you make house beats, if you make drum and bass, if you make some bass, and you want to work and you need some fire bars on it, hit me up or hit him up and he'll hit me
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Either way.
Because I think with that there's more of a focus. You want it to be more of a collaborative effort,
Definitely.
and you really want to make the song and curate it with the producer a little
Yeah.
more than just a producer sending you a beat and you hop on
Yeah, because
it.
I think lyrics when it comes to like in an EDM sense,
Yeah,
it's not as or it can be, but it's not as focused on the lyrical content,
sure, right,
and it's more of like does it enhance the vibe of
sure,
the track that it's already creating.
100%.
All right, well let's get into you just mentioned the new project that you're working on. What is it called? What
Sure.
can we maybe expect from it a little bit?
Yeah, so this new project, it's called Marigold. It's the Marigold
Okay.
album. This is going to be my first full length album. In the past, I've done a series of EPs that would have been like 5 to 7 tracks. As of
Okay.
now, we have 10 confirmed tracks. It's going to be at
Okay.
least 10 songs. I think that's just like a strong number and
That's yeah, that's a
right.
solid, yeah.
And who know? I mean, it may be we might even add to it, but it's going to be a full length album. I'm flying out to Denver on Friday for a show this Saturday. And
Sick.
then a few days after that, the team and I are going down to Phoenix, where we booked out 2 nights of studio time, and we're
Fire.
just gonna record this album. So,
Hell yeah. So debut project right
pretty
here.
much, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
debut album for
Right, yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And it's mostly me. We have one feature on it. It's my boy Dank Delish. He's based in
Okay.
New York City right now. He's originated in Phoenix, and he's absolutely talented.
Sick.
Beautiful singer, poet, guitar player, producer, just
Is he
incredible.
playing guitar on the
He's
album?
not.
He's
So
just
he's singing.
vocals?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's actually this song is it's the single, so it's called The Chase. So I just did a video for that in Brooklyn. So you guys can
Sick.
check that out. It's on Spotify. The Chase, Don Gadi featuring Dank Delish.
And that's gonna be on the
That's going to be
project.
on the
So that's
project.
like the sneak peek a
That's
little
like the
bit.
sneak peek, and then
Okay.
the rest of the project is all just going to be brand new songs that we're recording,
Oh yeah.
and it's all me. The producer, the primary producer, is dude Say10,
That
who
sounds
is
familiar.
absolutely incredible. He's one of the most talented up and coming young producers.
Where's he from?
He's from Phoenix as well, or from the
Okay.
Phoenix area. Yeah.
Where how are you connected in Phoenix? Like what got you out there?
It's kind of a interesting, kind of random story. My boy Naman, he is from Phoenix originally. He moved out to San Diego.
Okay.
We bounced into each other at an EDM show, at a right
Oh,
at a
I love that. The
yeah.
EDM community is so tight
It
knit.
is
It's
pretty tight,
connected
and the
very
people are
yeah.
so cool, man. They
Yeah,
know how
yeah.
to party.
Big
They're
time.
just dope. And but anyways, this was like a rhythm show, and we were
Okay.
both like not feeling it. And that we kind of bonded over
Oh
that.
yeah.
And I think he was rocking like a Steph Curry jersey, and I probably had like a freaking like I think I had a Russell Westbrook, and we just bonded over like NBA. So we're
Yeah.
just sitting there
There's not
talking
many people at a rave with
with
the
some sports
jersey on.
shit.
Yeah,
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 they
yeah.
have like like
It's
an
full
Excision
rave.
jersey or
Right,
some
yeah,
shit,
yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, Numan and I, we just really connected. He's become one of my best friends. One of just the most genuine, coolest people on the earth, really. And he's not a musician, but he's one of these people that like really curates talent and just
Okay. Brings people
brings
together.
people together. Has a
Yeah.
real ear and a good taste for music, and
Rick
so
Rubin type.
kind of, yeah, that's
Yeah.
I exact. That's yeah. We've talked about that. I think
Word.
that's somebody that he really looks up to. So yeah, Numan and I really have been working together on just on putting together some shows.
Hmm.
He's the one who's helped me book in Denver. We're working on a show in Phoenix this summer.
Hell yeah.
We're working on a New York show this summer as well. And yeah, he just put me in touch with Satan and with Thank the Lish, and yeah, the rest is history. So
Sick.
yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, like, you know, good friends, having people that believe in the vision,
Mm.
believe in you, and want to see like beautiful art get created. They're so important to
Big
have.
time.
You know,
Yeah.
like you. I think for the longest time, I just was pretty stubborn and maybe thought that I could just do everything alone.
Hmm.
And I think, humbling yourself a little bit and understanding that nothing worthwhile really comes from one person. The team, the sum is greater than the parts.
Big time. And I think it's also important to have people on your team that aren't, like you're saying, like aren't necessarily musicians
Right.
or music people in general,
Sure.
but are more just kind of there to lend an ear or a different perspective.
Yeah.
Definitely can get a full eye and full scope of understanding about what you're working on.
110%,
Yeah.
and honest people. So don't get
Yeah.
the yes man out of there, right? If everybody's just gassing it up and they're gassing you up, and everything you drop is the fucking best shit ever,
You're never gonna, yeah.
yeah, but their heart might be in the right place, but you want
Yeah.
people who are gonna be honest and be like, "Nah, run it back. I think you can do better," or
Yeah.
I want to hear. Here's what I want. Like they want to pull the
You need to be
best work out of you.
challenged or else you're
Absolutely,
not gonna grow for
absolutely.
sure. Yeah.
So,
So with that, what's been your like biggest moment of growth in like the past 4 years that's really like stood out to you as like this really changed my mindset about making music or really inspired you to keep going?
it's a really good question. I think the biggest thing for me was falling back in love with the journey of
Mm,
all this shit, of music, of the career, of a music career, and of music production, and creation, and not focusing so much on a destination.
yeah.
I think you know it can be hard as like an up and coming artist
Hmm.
to not lose hope and not get kind of frustrated because you believe so much in your art,
Yeah.
and sometimes you feel like you make so much art but maybe you don't have like the knowledge or the expertise on like the business side of things that you wish you had. And
Hmm.
I think for me over the last few years I just have been really falling back in love with just creating awesome music and just embracing the process, embracing the journey. And also kind of just growing up a little bit as a person. I've always been a bit of a late bloomer. I'm
Hmm.
29 years old. Honestly, I don't think my brain fully developed until like 3 years ago. I'll be fully honest with you.
Yeah.
I look back at just myself in my early 20s and late teens, and I like cringe heavily.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that. But
Hmm.
I think for me, yeah, I just kind of needed to grow up a little bit. It's an interesting duality because I think I've become a more humble person, but I actually believe in myself more. It's kind
Mm.
of like with humility comes like real confidence,
Yeah.
not like fucking beating your chest
Yeah. I'm that
confidence.
guy.
Because
Yeah.
really, the people who are like that are usually actually the least confident when you
Yeah.
really strip away the
Well, cause
facade.
yeah, yeah.
And I think I was somebody like that for a while.
Okay.
So yeah, I think growing up a little bit, embracing the process, and just just putting shit out, just continuing to
Yeah.
make music. You just have to just make it and put it out.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sitting on a bunch of shit, so
Yeah,
that's hard.
hell yeah.
I
No,
don't know
I
if I
that
follow my
yeah.
own advice.
Dude, what's the song like? Is there anything that you haven't like you've had in the vault for like 6 years that you're like, I've really wanted to drop this whole time, but it hasn't come out yet.
Not quite 6 years, but like two. I got some
Okay.
songs that are sitting there by about 2 years. I think, and this is sort of like a good PSA to all artists, because there reaches a point, right? Like you don't want to just rush to put stuff out before it's ready,
Yeah.
and you want to be strategic about it with your drops, and you want to make the algorithm like you, and you got to,
Mm-hmm.
you want to have a strategy and a method to the madness, but. you don't want to sit on shit for too long, because I've made that mistake where I sit on like 2 3 years, and now I'm like,
You don't relate to it
I don't even
anymore.
relate to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, who? This is like, it feels just like it's not me. Even my voice sounds a little different. The flow is different,
Mm.
and then it's still a song that you made. You can show it to your
Yeah.
friends, but I like to avoid that. If I made something, if I paid for studio time, I paid for a beat, if I spent the time, the hours it takes to write it and record it,
Yeah.
let's put that out. The world
Yeah.
wants to hear that. Music is meant to be listened to. It's not meant to be sitting on a hard drive
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So you don't think that's ever gonna release then because it's been so
I can
so
think of a
long.
couple ones that are like not coming out,
Yeah, yeah.
but for the over the last couple years, I think I've been a lot better at
If you
putting.
like it, get it
Yeah,
out.
and if it's something that's not worthwhile, like if it's something, like if I write something and I'm like, not really feeling it. Okay, let's focus on something else. There's
Hmm.
no point in booking studio time for something that I'm like iffy about,
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So, but I mean, I'm sitting on like dozens of tracks over the last year.
Okay.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think most artists are. I
Yeah,
think that
yeah.
that's kind of normal, and I'd like to see most of them out. Um, yeah, I'm probably going to be dropping a series of singles between now and the album that's coming out in May
That are not on the
that are
album?
not on the album,
Okay.
just to get just to kind of feed the algorithm a little bit, keep eyes and ears on what's going on.
Will you feel like once you release this album, you'll have a certain like expectation for yourself of what you want to do after the album, like what comes out next? Or are you still like in wanting to release these songs that you have in the vault now, like are
Yeah.
you like once the album comes out, nothing else in the vault is like it's all in the past kind of thing?
That's
Or
a really good question. I wouldn't necessarily say that.
mm,
There's a couple songs I can think of that are they're they're like sing songs. They're more
okay,
pop R&B, actually more pop than R&B. So
okay.
I almost feel like if I were to drop them right now in the context of all the other stuff I'm dropping, it
Mm,
may feel a little jarring, like out of left field.
okay.
But it's still stuff that I want to be out there. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't say like once I drop Marigold, I'm just like, that's it. We got to start fresh.
Okay.
But I think as an artist, there's sort of an instinct to continue creating
Yeah.
new stuff. Like, I'm more excited about the stuff that I recorded last month than I am about the stuff that I recorded a year ago.
Yeah.
I think
Fair.
that,
And that's good. Yeah. You wouldn't want to be more happy about stuff that you made a
right,
year
that's
ago.
yeah. You got to reassess at that point.
So all right, wait. So Marigold, can you give us like a 5-word description of like something like a feeling that encompasses the album?
5 word, I don't know about that, but I can
sentence.
do.
Give me like
Yeah,
a one
yeah.
sentence of how you feel about it.
Okay, so I feel like this album perfectly encapsulates my versatility. I think I'm a very versatile artist. I've had people tell me that that's a strength and a weakness, because when you're talking to labels, you're talking to A&Rs, you're talking to booking agents. It's like, okay, what is your sound? And you're like, well, depends which fucking day it is. Depends what you want, what style you want. And I think Marigold brings a few of my different, like my vocal, like singing, my just straight bars, my kind of like upbeat quasi EDM side all together, and it does it in a way that flows. So I'm really happy. I think that this project embodies the Don Gadi sound and brand better than anything I've ever worked on.
Okay.
And I think, and it's trippy because I'm a trippy dude, right? And I think it's vulnerable. It embraces some vulnerability in places that I probably haven't gone before. Okay. But it's also got that bravado. I like to talk my shit. I like to, it's got some bravado to it. It's got some swagger to it. But it's honest. It's a very honest project. I think from start to finish. It's about as real as I've gotten. So I'm really excited for you all to hear it. Yeah. I think you're gonna love it.
Any chance we could get a little sneak peek?
Oh shit!
Like 1 or 2 songs if you have them with you.
Not
for the interview, just like after this.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I'll show you. I can do a little live thing and just kind of spit some shit for y'all. So for sure, you already know. And also, once we record, we're recording in a week, so I'll kick over some demos because I obviously want to get thoughts. And I think I'm gonna lean on my community a little bit to just like get this out there. I'd love to do an album release show out here in the 413.
And at Marigold.
At Marigold would be tight.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great
Marigold
thing.
at Marigold.
Yeah.
Let them know down in the comments if you want to see. I'm sorry. No,
Yeah.
we're gonna cut that. We're gonna. I'm not doing that. I'm not the like and subscribe guy. All right. Let's do one more question. I feel like we had a pretty good
Yeah, for sure.
conversation so far. Completely different direction, but what's your favorite movie of all time?
That's funny. I was talking to a friend about this not so long ago, and you know, it's kind of cliche. I hate to say it.
Uh,
It's Fight Club.
really,
Okay, so
really.
just hear me out because I've seen this come up on like red flags for guys,
Yeah.
like girls on dating things. They're like, if your guy says his favorite movie's
Yeah,
Fight Club, run. So check it out. Look, I'm not like, yeah, I want to beat people up. No, I just think it's a fucking dope movie.
Okay.
All right, it's Brad Pitt in his prime.
Yeah.
It's who's the other guy? Ed
I don't.
Norton.
I don't know names of actors.
Chat, look it up.
Yeah.
It's just so dope, and I love the twist. So I don't
Mhm.
want to give it away if you
Okay,
haven't
yeah.
seen it.
I
I feel
haven't
like I
seen
kind
it.
of just did,
No,
but
yeah.
the first, yeah, have you seen it?
I haven't seen it in a long
Okay,
time. In a long time. Yeah.
it's my favorite movie.
All
I
right.
mean, there's a few other ones that come to mind, but if I had to answer, I'd say
Okay. And then I have one more that came to me. What's your go-to munchies?
like
Like,
if I'm stoned.
yeah, of course. What else?
Okay. um, yo, I'm a sucker for coffee cakes, like Drake's or Hostess coffee cakes. I can
Really?
put them down, bro. I can house like an
Word.
unhealthy amount. Yeah.
Okay. You
Um.
like you get that at Cumbies?
Oh
Like
yeah.
yeah.
I'll get like 3 or 4 of them.
Okay.
The
All
two
right.
packs.
That's a hot. I don't think I've heard that one
I
before.
love
I
a good
like that's
coffee cake.
valid. All
Yeah,
right.
that's like a sweet thing. And then for I mean, Annie's white cheddar mac and cheese with some Frank's hot
For
sauce on it. Yeah,
ooh,
I eat
that's a
that like
yeah.
once a week at
Okay.
home. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Valid. All right. Sweet. Anything else you want to say to the people before we end the interview?
Hey, thank y'all for supporting me. Thank you for rocking with me over the years, being patient with me as I've kind of grown up and come into my own. I got a lot of fucking heat for y'all, but I really appreciate it. Shout out the whole 413 community,
Thanks.
Amherst, Northampton, Greenfield, Turners. Couldn't have gotten this far without y'all. I
Oh
appreciate
yeah.
it.
All right. Thank you, Don Gadi.
Appreciate you, man.
Much love.
Thanks. Oh yeah.
All right. We good? We got that all?